Good morning, guys. In the last class, we discussed about what is single page application, what is multi-page application. Single page application means only one web page will be displayed, and from the second request onwards, just content will be loaded. Multi-page application means for every request, new web page will be loaded at the client side. Currently in the market, people are developing single page applications. Angular is one client-side framework. Angular is one client-side framework which is used to develop single-page applications. Angular is a client-side framework developed by Google. Angular framework is developed based on TypeScript. Angular is mainly used for single-page applications. Angular supports multiple devices like mobiles and desktops. Angular supports multiple browsers. Angular is free and open source. Angular and Angular JS both are not same. Angular JS developed using JavaScript. Angular developed by using TypeScript. From Angular 2 version onwards, it is called as Angular framework. The current version of Angular is 13. Good. Next one. When it comes to the Angular, yesterday we have seen the building blocks of the Angular: components, metadata, template, data binding, module, service, dependency injection, directives, and pipes. Components. Component, nothing but a controller which will deal with application logic, which will deal with our application logic. Metadata, which component belongs to which template will be maintained by metadata. Template is nothing but a HTML file where the presentation logic will be available. Next, data binding. Data binding is used to send the data from component to template and template to component. Next, module. Collection of components and templates together is called as module. Service. Service is used to write the reusable business logic. Service is used to write the business logic. Dependency injection. The process of injecting one class object into another class object is called as dependency injection. In the Angular, service object will be injected into component. Directives. Directives are used to manipulate DOM elements in the templates. Pipes. Pipes are used to transform the data. Suppose I have the data in the lowercase. I want to transform that into uppercase. I have the data in the Indian currency. I want to transform that into US dollar. So converting data from one format to another format is called transformation. That a transformation we are going to do by using this pipes concept. These are main building blocks of the Angular. Then after we have done environment setup for Angular, we installed Node.js. With the Node.js, we got Node Package Manager, Node Package Manager NPM. Using NPM, we installed TypeScript. What is this TypeScript? TypeScript is a language which is developed based on JavaScript. TypeScript developed by Microsoft. Angular developed by using TypeScript. Right? We installed TypeScript and we installed Angular CLI, Angular command line interface to develop Angular applications. Then after, install Visual Studio Code IDE. Visual Studio Code IDE, VS Code IDE, which is most famous for front-end development like JavaScript applications, Angular applications, React applications. Such kind of applications we are going to create by using VS Code IDE. So now we have done that node installation, then we installed TypeScript, then we installed Angular CLI, then we installed Visual Studio Code. Okay, so are you able to set up that, guys, in your system? Are you able to set up that in your system? Are you guys able to set up that in your system? Is Angular setup working in your system? Is Angular setup working in your system? Yes. Okay. How can we verify that Angular setup is working in our system or not. First, we can verify npm version, which version of Node Package Manager installed, npm version, then tsc version, then ng version. Now see, TypeScript is available, Node Package Manager available, Angular CLI also available. So all the required things are available to develop our applications. Now I'm creating one folder in the 19 SBMS. I created one folder called ng workspace. In this folder, I can open CMD and code space dot. It will open VS Code IDE. Code space dot. It will open VS Code IDE. Now in the ng workspace, from here, I created one folder in the 19 SBMS ng workspace. In the ng workspace, I just opened VS Code. How I opened? CMD, I opened code space dot. It will open VS Code IDE. It will open VS Code IDE. Got it. Now my VS Code IDE is available. Let me close this. My VS Code IDE is open here. In this VS Code IDE, we can have the terminal. Okay, so in the VS Code IDE, directly we can create our projects and we can compile the project and we can run the project. Terminal is included. Terminal is included in the VS Code IDE directly. Go to terminal, new terminal. Now see, I got the terminal. So when we go for the terminal, by default it is opening PowerShell. By default it is opening Windows to PowerShell. Now I will change from PowerShell to CMD. I will change from PowerShell to CMD. Got my point? From the PowerShell, I will change to command prompt. So now I change it to command prompt, not PowerShell. I change it to command prompt. Remember this point. Remember this point. So when I close this, if I go to terminal option here, when I go for here, when I go here, and when I click on terminal option, when I click on terminal option, new terminal, by default it is opening PowerShell. Okay, we need to open command prompt. Click the arrow here. See, there is the option command prompt. Now I have been to command prompt. So command prompt here also you can check npm-v Node Package Manager version, tsc-v, ng-v version. Yes. So whatever you can do in the command prompt, same thing you can do here also. Same thing you can do here also in the VS Code IDE. Terminal is available. Terminal is available. Now, guys, so our environment setup is ready. Now I want to create one Angular application and I want to run that Angular application. To create the Angular application, the syntax is ng new app name. You can create any application with any name by using Angular. Ng new app name. Currently in this ng workspace folder, do I have any project? In this workspace folder, do I have any project here? Currently, I don't have any project. Now I want to create one Angular project, front-end project. Okay, so for that, we are going to use ng new app name. I'm keeping my app name as app1. Ng new is the syntax, application name. Ng new application name. Enter. Enter. It will take some time. It is asking, would you like to add the routing? Currently, I don't want any routing. Now, do you want to use a CSS? Yes. Now, it is going to create the project. Guys, this project creation will take time. So whenever it is creating the project, you see there are some files getting generated. We need to talk about these files now. So when we are trying to create the project by using Angular, it will take some time. In the project, it is going to create these files first. Yes. These are the files which are getting created. Yeah. These are the 4 files which are getting created when we create our Angular application. These 4 files are belongs to one component called app component. These 4 files are belongs to one component called app component. Okay. By default, app component will be available. In the app component, this is component.html. This is called as template. This is called as a template. And this is called as component class. This is called as component class. Component class. Component class. This is a CSS file for the template. For every template, its own CSS file will be available. CSS for template. This spec.ts, this is unit test class. Component unit test class. Unit test class. Okay, so whenever you create a Angular application, by default, one app component will be created. This app component is also called as parent component in the Angular. Whenever you create a Angular application, by default app component will be created. App component is called as parent component. Now, how this app component will be executed? In the Angular application, there will be one file by default. That file is called as index.html. By default, one file will be available that is called index.html. Index.html file is called as welcome file in the Angular. Index.html is available. Index.html is called as welcome file. Index.html is called as welcome file. Are you guys clear with my point? In this index.html, selector will be available. That means which component is it has to invoke, that a selector will be available in the index.html. So index.html is a welcome page. From the index.html, the application execution will start. This index.html page will invoke app component. It is going to invoke the app component. So app component is going to execute. So whenever we create Angular application, see here application created successfully. This is app 1. So this is the folder structure of our Angular application. Folder structure of Angular application. So once the Angular application got created, in the SRC, you can see that app is created and you can see index.html. Index.html is available and app component is available. In the index.html, currently there is some code available. Right. In this index.html, there is a selector app root. App root is the selector of app component. You see, app component is having a selector. That means in our application, we can have multiple components. In our application, we can have multiple components. In our application, we will have multiple components. Now, when the application is executed, that application execution should start from index.html. Index.html is called as welcome file in the Angular. In the index.html, what is happening? In the index.html, it is having a selector. That means which component should be loaded. App root. App root is the selector of the app component. So app component class will execute. Once the app component is executed, app template will execute. In the app template, there is some default code. Now let's run this application. cd space app1 ngserve. Ngserve is the command which is used to run the application. ngserve is the command which is used to run the application. Now I'm running my application. I created the application and I am running the application. Angular application. ng new app. Now application running successfully. What is the port number it is using by default? 4200. Okay, go to browser, localhost colon 4200. Now can you see Angular application is running? Can you see Angular application is running? Yes, Angular application is running by default. So this welcome page is having some data. From where this data is coming? This data is coming from app component template. First, when we send a request, first it will load index.html. In the index.html, it is having a selector. Now see the index.html. In the index.html, app root selector is available. If I remove this app root selector, now what will happen? Nothing will happen. I will say this is index file message. This is index file message. I just kept index file message. Now refresh it. What happened? Only index.html is loading. Earlier there is a lot of content, but now that content is not displaying. It is displaying only index file message. Okay. So here first, whenever you run the Angular application, what is the command we are using to run the Angular application? First we are creating ng application. That means Angular application we are creating. ng new app name. Once the Angular project is created, so app component also will be created by default. App component is called as a parent component. Angular application is nothing but a collection of components. Angular application is nothing but collection of components. So by default, app component is created. Whenever you run the Angular application, index.html will be loaded. So index.html will be loaded. Now from the index.html, we are going to invoke the components. How to invoke the components? By using component selector. So what is the component selector? App component is having a selector called app root. App component is having a selector called app root. So if I specify the selector in the index.html, then app component will be executed. Now see, app component is getting executed. App component is getting executed. Now when the app component is executed, what will happen? App component at a ts file will execute first. App component ts file will execute first. Then app component html will execute. App component css will execute. Every component will have its own component class, its own template, its own css. Every component will have its own component class, its own template, its own css. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Every class will have, every component will have its own component class, its own template file, its own CSS file. So now I have a question. How to invoke the component in the Angular? Component nothing but one portion in the web page. For example, if you take a Make My Trip application, or if you take a Gmail as application, Gmail is also single page application. So when you click on inbox, only inbox mails are displaying. Inbox mails are displaying. Okay, guys. Now when I click on sent, so only sent items are displaying. When I click on drafts, only draft items are displaying. So page is refreshing or only content is reloading. Page is refreshing or only content is reloading. Only page is refreshing or content is reloading. Content is reloading. So here primary mails are displaying. Primary is one component. Promotions are displaying. Promotions is one component. Social is displaying. Social is one component. sent and I click on sent, only sent component is loading, snoozed component loading, starred component, inbox component. So Angular application is nothing but collection of components. Angular application is nothing but collection of components. Are you guys able to understand my point? Angular is nothing but collection of components. So whenever we create the application, by default one component is created. What is the default component which is created by default? Guys, what is the default component which created? App component. What is the default component which created? App component. How to invoke the app component from the index.html? How to invoke the default component, which how to access the component using index.html? Using selector. Where we can find the selector? In the component class. Selector is available. Now in the index.html, we are using app root. We are using app root. That means app component will execute. App component TS file will execute. App component HTML will execute. App component CSS will execute. That is nothing but component execution. Every component having its own component class, its own template file, its own CSS file. Now, so we are getting this data. This UI is displaying. From where this UI is coming for us? From where this UI is coming for us? This UI is available in the index.html. This UI is available in the app component template. Guys, come on. This UI is available where? This UI is available where? This UI is available in the app component template file. That is the default message which is giving to us. That is the default message which is giving to us. Can we change that? Can we change that? Can we change that? Yes. Now let me go to app component HTML, remove everything. Just write a message h1. I am from app component. Can I write a h1? I am from app component. Now see, this is index file message. I am from app component. Okay, in the index.html, I'm writing one h1 tag. This is index file message. Then I am having a app root. That means app component will execute. In the app component TS, app component TS selector is there. App component is invoking from the welcome file. Then app component TS file. There is no logic in the app component TS. Then app component HTML. In the HTML, I have h1 tag. So index file is loaded. Index file invoked app component also loaded. This is from index file, and this is from app component. Can I apply some CSS for app component presentation logic? Can I apply some CSS for app component presentation logic? Where I can write the presentation logic changes? Where I can apply the styles for the app component now? Where I can apply styles for the app component? Every component will have its own styles. Now for a h1, I want to display some color. For a h1, I want to display some color. Okay, for a h1, I want to display some color. How can I display color? Color is equal to some red. Only for h1, I am displaying some color. Okay, how to add the CSS for that, man? For a h1, now see, for a h1 tag, I applied red color. That in the index.html also I have a h1 tag. In the app component template also I have a h1 tag. Now that color is applied for both messages. Color applied only for app component message. Color applied for both messages, or color applied only for app component? Only for app component. Why the color applied only for app component? Why the color applied only for app component? Every component is having its own template, its own CSS. Now I have written the message in the index.html. I have written the message in the app component HTML, but CSS I have written on the app component CSS. So this CSS we have written in the app component applicable only for app component template. Applicable only for app component template. Are you guys clear with this? So what is a component? Component is one portion in the web page. Angular project is nothing but collection of components. Okay, so create one Angular project, ng new app name. Once application created, we can go into that project and we can run the project by default. Whenever you run the project, by default it will run on the port number 4200. For the Java, for Spring Boot we will have Tomcat as a embedded server. For Angular, live server will be available. For Angular, live server will be available. Live server will run on the port number 4200. Live server will run on the port number 4200. All right. So now Angular application will contain collection of modules. App component is the default component in the Angular application. In the app component, these files will be available. Component.ts, component.html, component.css. Component.html nothing but template file. Component.ts nothing but TypeScript class. Component.css, CSS file. Every component will have its own component class, its own template, its own CSS. Whenever you run the Angular application, by default, index.html will invoke the app component. By default, index.html will invoke the app component. So index.html file message loaded, app component template also displaying. In the app component CSS, I have written one style. H1 should have the red color. So now in the app component, H1 tag is available. For that, red color applied. For the index.html, nothing is available. So it is displaying the message as it is. Are you able to understand how to create the Angular project and how to run the Angular project? Guys, I'm trying to give you some overview on the Angular. I'm not teaching the complete Angular here. So Angular, this is not Angular course. This is Spring Boot course. I want to show you how the front end back end integration will happen. So if I show you integration directly, you will not understand. That's why I am giving some background for the Angular. Angular is a client-side framework. Angular is a client-side framework. Angular is used to develop front-end applications. Angular developed by using TypeScript. Angular given by Google company. Angular is famous for single-page application development. We have done Angular setup in our system. We installed Node. We installed TypeScript. We installed Angular CLI, and we installed VS Code IDE. We created one application by using Angular, ng new app name. ng new app name. We created one application by using Angular, and we have executed that application. ng serve is the command. So whenever you execute ng serve command, Angular will run in the live server. 4200 is the port number. 4200 is the port number. So when you access the Angular application, by default, it will run on the 4200. When you run the Angular application, index.html file will open. Index.html file will open when you run the Angular application. In the index.html, we are accessing app component by using selector. Every component will have a selector. Here, app component is the parent component. Now, if you want to create other components, you can create. Now, let us see how to create other components in the Angular. How to create the other components in the Angular. You can create the other components in the Angular by using ng create component. ng create component by using a tag. You can create other components in the Angular. So component represents certain section in the web page. Okay, ng generate component name. Now let me create one more component. Already app component is available. Now I want to create one more component. ng generate component welcome. I'm creating one component. ng generate component name. Now see, app component is already available. Inside the app, welcome component created. Welcome component.css, welcome component.html, welcome component.ts, welcome component.ts. Welcome component is having a selector. Welcome component ts having a selector. So index HTML is accessing app component. Now app component should access welcome component. App component should access greet component, right? So we can create several other child components in the project. We can use several other child components to create the components. Now app component is a parent component. I'm creating child components. One is welcome component and the next one is greet component. One is welcome component, next one is greet component. So how to invoke these components? App component will invoke child components. App component is the parent component. Now see how to use them. In the welcome component created, now let me create a greet component also. ng generate component greet component also created. So with this total, how many components available in our application? How many components available in our application now total? 3 components available. What are those 3 components? What are the 3 components available? App component, welcome component, greet component. App component, greet component, welcome component. Out of these 3, which component is the parent component? Out of these 3, which component is the parent component? App component. Application execution will begin from which component? Application execution will begin from which component? App component. Who is invoking app component? Who is invoking the app component? Index.html. How the app component got invoked? How the app component got invoked? By using selector. App component is invoked by using selector. Are you clear? App component is invoked by using selector. Are you clear? App component is invoked by using selector. Now, what about the remaining 2 components? Welcome component and greet component. What about the remaining 2 components? Welcome component and greet component. Custom components. Who should call those custom components now? Who should invoke the custom components? From parent component. Welcome file will call parent component. Parent component will call child component. Now tell me how to invoke a component in the Angular. How to invoke a component in the Angular? How to invoke a component in the Angular? By using selector. Okay, now let me go here. Go to welcome component HTML. Let me write a message h2 welcome to Ashok IT. Welcome to Ashok IT. This is one h2 message in the welcome component HTML. Then go to greet component HTML. I will say that h2 good morning. Good morning. Okay, now let's run this application ng serve by default. See here, by default, other components are getting accessed, getting invoked or not invoked. Other components are invoking or not invoking. Let's verify. Compiled successfully ng serve. Other components are invoking or other components are not invoking? Not invoking. Index HTML is invoked. Index HTML is having a app component selector. So only app component is invoked. So I have 2 other components also in the project. Welcome component available, greet component available. They are getting invoked or they are not getting invoked? they are not getting invoked. What is the reason? What is the reason? We need to invoke them by using selector. First, I want to invoke the welcome. What is the selector of the welcome? App welcome. Take the selector of the welcome component. Go to app component HTML. Here, I will specify app welcome. App welcome. Now see, are we able to get welcome to Ashok IT? Are we able to get welcome to Ashok IT? Welcome to Ashok IT. Welcome to Ashok IT. It is coming from which component? This is message coming from index HTML. This message coming from app component. This message coming from welcome component. Similarly, can we access greet component? Similarly, can we access greet component? Can we take the selector of the greet? Take the selector of the greet. Now go to app component, specify app greet. This is the selector of the greet component. Now refresh. Now, are we able to access this? Are we able to access parent component and child components? Now, can I apply some style for welcome component HTML? Can I apply some style for parent for welcome component? Okay, go to welcome component CSS, write it H2 color is blue. H2 color is blue. Now see, welcome to Ashok IT component message, change it to blue color. Good morning. Greet component HTML. Greet component HTML is having some message. Go to greet component CSS now. Here also H2 message is available. H2 color green. Color green. Now see, for different components, different colors I have used. Every component will have its own template, its own CSS, its own template, its own CSS. Are you clear with my point? Are you clear with my point? This is coming from index file. Index file is invoking app component. Index file is invoking app component. App component is invoking welcome component and greet component. Angular is easy, Angular is difficult. Angular is easy, Angular is difficult. Come on. Angular is easy. Angular is easy. We can develop front-end applications by using Angular. We can develop front-end applications by using Angular. Got it? Angular project is nothing but collection of components. Now see, if you go for Gmail, Gmail application contains collection of components. Inbox component, promotions component, social component, sent component, draft component, more less important, scheduled, spam component, trash component, social updates, forums, promotions, like that, mail, chat, okay, spaces, meet, like this. There are several components are available in the Angular. So based on the requirement, we are going to create the component. Every component will have its own template, its own CSS, its own component class. See, whenever we create Angular project, index.html created index.html having a selector. That index.html invoking app component. Then app component is invoking welcome component and greet component. So multiple components will be available for all the components. App is the parent. App component can invoke the child components by using selector. Okay, guys. Now, what are the commands we use to create the Angular project now? What are the commands we use to create the Angular project? Create Angular project. What is the command? Ng new app name. Ng new app name, which is used to create the Angular project. Okay. Now go inside the project. Get into project. Get into project folder. Now, what is the command to get into the project folder? cd space project name or app name. Whatever the app you created, cd space app name. Then after, how to run the Angular project? Run the Angular project. Run Angular project. How to run the Angular project? Ng serve. Ng serve is the command which is used to run the Angular project. Ng serve is the command which is used to run the Angular project. Angular project runs using live server with 4200 port. Angular projects will run using live server with 4200 as default port. Angular projects will run using live server with 4200 as the default port. Create Angular project, get into project folder, run the Angular project. Angular projects will run using live server with 4200 as the default port. Okay. Create the component. How can we create the component in the Angular? Angular application means collection of components. Angular application means collection of components. Component represents a portion in the web page. Component represents portion of web page. A web page is nothing but collection of components. Angular application means collection of components. Components represent portion of web page. Okay, how to create a component? Create component. How to create the component? $ng generate component name. Ng generate component name. Like this we can generate the component. So app is the default component. App component is parent. App component is parent component. It will be invoked from welcome file, which is index.html file. Child components should be invoked from app component. Child components, that means whatever the components we created, those are child. Child components should be invoked from parent component. What is our parent component? Parent component is the app component using selector. Read these commands. Create Angular project, ng new app name. Angular project is getting created. Once the project is created, go inside that project. cd space project name. Run the Angular project. Run the Angular project. ng serve. It will use live server. It will use live server. What is the port number of the live server? 4200 is the port number of the live server. Angular application means collection of components. Component represents portion of the web page. Create a component. ng generate component name. In the Angular application, app component is the parent component. Index.html file is going to invoke that parent component. If you create the child components should be invoked from the parent component. Every component will have template, TypeScript file, component class, CSS file, HTML file. Now see, so this is coming from index. This is coming from app component. This is coming from welcome component. This is coming from greet component. So total 3 components available in our application. 3 components available in our application. Read this, see this diagram. All of you look at this diagram. Is this clear? Is this clear for all of you? Guys, if the live server is not working, you can install the live server. So if you go to VS Code IDE, here there is the option called extensions. In the extensions, you can install live server. If you type live server, you will get it. It is already installed in my IDE. So you will see a live server option here. There will be an install button. You can install it. If it is not installed, in the VS Code IDE, you can install the live server. How to install? Go to VS Code IDE. In the VS Code IDE, there is an extensions option available. Here you type a live server. There you can install it. Here you will get an install button. Okay. See these commands. Now you are getting interest to learn the Angular. Huh? Guys, now you are getting interest to learn the Angular. Huh? Angular, I'm teaching in the JRTP. In the JRTP, Angular I will teach as a weekend workshop. Angular course I am going to take for 2 weekends. One weekend, it is for TypeScript, one weekend for Angular. So we are going to take Angular workshop in the JRTP batch. If you are in the Java real-time project, you will learn Angular from me. I will, once the backend development completed in the Java real-time project, I will take 2 weekends, one weekend for Angular TypeScript, how to what is Angular, how to work with the TypeScript. This we'll discuss 1 week. Then after 1 week, we will discuss 1 weekend. We will discuss Angular. You don't worry. Okay. Perfect, guys. So I want you people to practice this Angular basic first application that we created today. So tomorrow is no class. Tomorrow is festival. Tomorrow is holiday for institute. Day after tomorrow, I mean to say Thursday, I will make integration. Thursday, I will make the integration of our application with Spring Boot. Now, what kind of application I want to develop is, I want to develop one simple bookstore application, book name, book price, author name. Okay, this is one front end page I want to develop. This is one front end page I want to develop. For this front end page, I will give one submit button. This form will be available in Angular. Submit button. Whatever the records you add, those records will display in the same page. Name, price, author. Name, price, author. Whatever the data you add, that table data will be displayed here only. So if you add Java, now that Java will display here. Price, whatever you add, author, whatever it is. Okay, so like this, I want to develop one application. I want to develop one application in the front end. So for example, if I take, if you add Spring is having $200 price. It is from Johnson. So how many records you add, those records will display in the same page. Okay, this is Angular application. This Angular application will talk to Spring Boot REST API. My backend application is Spring Boot REST API. My backend application is a Spring Boot REST API. This is my front end application. So whenever you click on the submit button, it will send a request to the backend REST API, and we will get the response from the REST API, and we will display the table data. Request and response. Request and response. This is the requirement. This is the requirement. So this is what we need to develop in the next session. We will create one backend REST API. Backend REST API is used to store the data. Whatever the data we store, it will store the data and it will return the data. It will store a single record into the table and it will return multiple records as a response. One request, we will send one request with the data. It will return all the records which are available in the table. So this front end application I will develop by using Angular. This backend application I will develop by using Spring Boot. Front end by using Angular, backend by using Spring Boot. The integration between the front end and back end we are going to do. Integration between the front end and back end we are going to do. Are you guys clear with this? Are you guys clear with this? Yeah, after this AWS integration completed, then I will explain WAUth. I remember WAUth. I will take one class on the WAUth. Once this integration completed, then I will discuss WAUth example also, because for WAUth I don't have any video. I will take the WAUth concept in the live class. Friday, Thursday, if we can complete this, then Friday I will take the WAUth. Okay, guys. Fine. Spring batch, Spring batch JUnit. Oh my God. We'll see that, sir. We'll see that. We'll take it. So this weekend we can utilize for all the pending concepts. Connect to two databases in one application. Mr. Vittal, are you sleeping or what? I gave you a video to connect with multiple databases. I have shared the example also in the Telegram. Have you checked it? एक बार check करो भाई. Okay, good guys. Perfect. Can you guys develop this REST API in the backend for this requirement? Can you guys develop a REST API in the backend for this requirement? Can you guys develop a REST API in the backend so that we can develop front end? Okay. So before coming to next session on Thursday, tomorrow is a holiday because of festival. We have next session on Thursday. Before coming to Thursday session, you need to create this REST API. Then in the Thursday session, I will create this Angular project and I will show you how to integrate this Spring Boot with Angular. Okay. So once this integration completed, then we will discuss about what. So people are asking JUnit. I will show one example with JUnit also. Fine, guys. Thank you. Have a great day. We will see in the next session. Bye bye.